Okay, it looks like we're live. Sorry about that. Sorry about it. It looks like I'm peaking as well. I should probably turn that down a little bit. Sorry if I just violated your ears. If I did, let me know. There's always going to be an awkward delay there. I'm also touching the monitor, which has the camera on top of that. I was sorry. I was in the chat with the members, and I don't want to like cut them off because they're members. They're going above and beyond, and I appreciate that. You guys are here just to ask questions, right? That's what this is. It's an AMA. We're going to get right into that right now. I see a question from Endor. It's asking, what inspired you to start YouTube? Nothing really inspired me to start YouTube. I was just kind of bored in the summer of 2015. Was it 2015? I think the summer of 2015 was when I actually started the YouTube channel. But it was kind of on and off, didn't really take off for a while. I was just doing science vids, so, I mean, hence the name. I was doing stuff that had to do with space and, like astronomy, physics, and geology. Yeah, geology. I almost said geography. Yeah, just stuff like that, and none of that really got popular because I didn't have a presence at the time. And then I built my first PC to start editing with, and you guys loved that stuff. And so I just said, screw it, I'll just keep doing that over and over and over, and that's how the channel built up. So the premise of the channel was originally on stuff that had nothing to do with PCs, but I quickly realized that if I wanted to be successful on this platform, or have any chance to be successful, that I was going to have to shift my content a bit, and I didn't mind that because I enjoyed building PCs. So I was kind of fortunate that you guys subbed for that because it's a good hobby. It's an expensive hobby at times, but it's a good hobby. Let's see. Scrolling back up, we have Dennis Mitch, Dark Rock 4 versus Dark Rock Slim. Personally, I like the Dark Rock 4 a bit more. We've done pre-rolls for I don't know if we've done pre-rolls for Dark Rock 4, but we've done recent pre-rolls for Dark Rock Slim. The Dark Rock Slim is like it's like your cookie cutter thin CPU that, in my opinion, looks really good. And it's going to cost a bit more. Yeah, we've already talked about this stuff in our review. But I think that one is just, if you want a surefire compatible CPU cooler, it's not going to interfere with RAM or anything else, won't cover your RAM, then that's the way to go, the Dark Rock Slim. But for just like an extra $20, the Dark Rock 4 is a lot beefier, a much higher TDP, better performance, and in my opinion looks a bit better because it fills out the empty space in your system. So if I had to choose and money really wasn't an issue, I didn't have like a super strict budget, I'd choose a Dark Rock 4 over the Dark Rock Slim. Either's fine though. Okay, scrolling down. What do we have here? Neat's asking if I'm going to do another crash course video. Sure, Will. You'll see those actually soon. We're going to be... I don't want to talk much about Floatplane yet because I want to save it for an official announcement, probably in a video, at least on Twitter and my other social media channels. But I have a few videos in the pipeline already for Floatplane. I want to get those out a week ahead of time on Floatplane so that when we actually publish a channel and it goes live, because we have the account set up, it's just not... It's like in stealth mode right now. So when it goes live, there's enough content on there for you guys to actually feel somewhat inclined to sub, and that would be appreciated. And the guys at Floatplane would be appreciative of that as well. By the way, I met all of the guys at Floatplane, literally all of them, like from all over the planet. They all met up at LTX this year. That was kind of like Luke's way of trying to get the whole team together and use that event as like the opportunity to do it. And so that was really cool. Met all of them. They're all super chill dudes, and obviously they know what they're doing, because they've built a video streaming platform from the ground up practically. And a lot of what they do is beyond me, all the servers and transcoding work that goes on behind the scenes. But yeah, I want to catch up, and when I get enough content on there, then that'll air, and Crash Course videos will be some of the videos that you'll see a week ahead of time if you subscribe on Floatplane. Just because like some of the stuff like review-wise, like if it's a case review or whatever, those are all embargoed videos, right? So I don't want to put those a week up early on Floatplane because then everyone else is going to post their videos to YouTube where there's a frankly much bigger audience, and so it would be kind of a disservice to the companies sending me stuff if it only goes out to Floatplane, a week early, and it doesn't go up to YouTube until a week after the product's already been launched. You guys know what I'm talking about. Let's see. Someone says, do a backflip, please, and I'll donate my soul. I will lose my soul if I do a backflip. I'll kill myself. That would be terrible. I would like land on my neck and it would just snap and I'd be out. like on camera. I would not want to do that. Oh gosh. Let's see here. Scrolling up. Vortex, please answer Ryzen 5 3600 with RTX 2070 Super. Is that good with B450? Yep, that's perfectly fine. Not a problem there. Someone's asking about the lawsuit. So I haven't decided yet if I'm going to wait. My lawyers advised me to wait until after the hearing to talk any more about this. And I think that's wise advice. For one, you don't want to do anything or say anything that could be used in court against you. I totally understand that. So that's one of the reasons why I don't want to talk about it yet. I've said a few things, but the stuff I've already regurgitated in videos. Second of all, there's not much more to talk about in a dedicated video so far because, I mean, there is stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's happened that is really juicy, pretty disturbing, that you guys don't know about yet. That will be brought up. It's a sensitive topic, but it will be brought up in that video. But I want to wait until the hearing is ruled on by the magistrate before I tell you anything, because it kind of all depends on this. If they decide that Indiana has jurisdiction, then I have to retain my lawyers, drive up to Indiana, and be represented, in small claims court, Worst case, I lose $6,000 plus lawyer fees, and whatever he tries to countersue for, which I can't see him winning. I can't see that, like, in what universe that would happen. But yeah, if he, if they have jurisdiction, like, I'm gonna go balls to the wall. I'm gonna countersue. I'm gonna do what I can to get my court fees back, to get my lawyer fees back. It's going to be pretty rough for him. So for his sake, I hope they'd say we don't have jurisdiction, because if I have to retain lawyers and pay thousands of dollars to defend myself, because I have to, in the state of Indiana, retain lawyers to represent my business, it's going to be pretty expensive. And I have a feeling it's going to be expensive for him ultimately at the end of the day, because I think I'm going to win. So we'll see. But that's all I'll say for now. I mean, this is stuff that, there's a lot going on. But I'll wait. Let's see. Okay, good question from Jacob from the group of YouTubers you kicked it with last weekend at LTX. Who have you the utmost respect for? I would say I don't know any of them well enough to tell you who I have the most respect for. I'd have to be really good friends with all of them. And frankly, I'm not really good friends with any of the big tech YouTubers you guys would know. I'm just not. It's just something that I've never really gone out of my way to be really good friends with any of the guys that I used to watch on YouTube, that I still watch on YouTube. It's nothing that, it was never really a big deal to me to become really good friends with people in the industry, although that's nice, but I'm not going to be that weird guy who tries to go out and hang out with them all the time. A lot of them hung out together, and I wasn't really in that group. I will say, though, that I did spend a lot of time with some of the smaller YouTubers who were there. And when I say small, I mean less than 500,000 subs. They started their channels 2-3 years ago, right? So kind of how we were 2-3 years ago. And I can totally relate. It's still in my head vividly. And so some of those channels, like Nerd on a Budget, I hung out with Ozzy from Oz Talks Hardware, hung out with Coalition Gaming. 3 of those guys, those are stand-up guys, all of them really down to earth, super chill. And there's just something that's just, to me, it's super comfortable hanging out with guys like that, because they're just enjoying it, it's, some of them have full-time jobs still, some of them are in college still, and, so they have other things going on, and they don't take their work, super, super seriously, and, are very regimented and scheduled. They're just, casual. They're just there to hang out and see what's what, and film for you guys, and meet fans, and that's it. I mean, that's really what all of us were there for. Except for the guys who were hosting LTX. They had a lot of work to do, and rightfully so. It was an incredible event. A lot of stuff went down that you guys probably haven't even seen on camera anywhere yet. So I hung out with a lot of the smaller guys, and I'm just saying that with respect to the channels. But those are stand-up guys. I have a lot of respect for them. That's not to say I don't have respect for the other guys. I just don't know them well enough. I've never really like I've never sat down and like hung out with any of these guys for days on end. Whereas I've done that with Oz. I've done that with Danny from Nerd on a Budget. I've done that with them. So it's a little easier for me to say that about them. So that's where I'll keep it. Price is asking what my favorite games are. My favorite games are City Skylines. I really like GTA 5 only because they keep adding new stuff to GTA Online, which is nice. First-person shooters, I like Call of Duty games, PUBG, stuff like that. I'm not really like super picky about first-person shooters. I once I stick to something, like I really stick to it, and I play it a lot, and I don't really like switching. That's why I really haven't made the switch to Apex yet. And I hate Fortnite, so don't even get me started with Fortnite. But it's like if there's a genre, like if it's like battle royale, I will pick one title and only play that one, and I will just play the heck out of it. Let's see. Chip's asking Ninja leaving Twitch for Mixer ideas. Are you asking me a question about ideas about it, or like, I mean, all I'm gonna say is they paid him bank. Like the guy had to be paid millions of dollars to make that switch. He was already making millions on Twitch, and then to ask him to completely uproot, basically terminate his Twitch account and move on over to a totally different platform that frankly isn't as successful. That's a pretty good point, Vortex. GTA Online is dying because of tryhards. They are like, there's a ton of modders in GTA Online. That's true. But you got to do private sessions with a lot of friends. That's when it's fun. But anyway, yeah, they had to pay him millions upon millions of dollars. So it's just a money game. That's all it is, a money play. Like anytime you see an athlete transfer from one team to another, he did it because of money, more than likely. And that's exactly what I feel like the case is here. So no surprise. I just wonder how much money they actually paid him to do that, because that's a big switch. That'd be like someone paying me to move from YouTube. Like I said, I'm probably gonna get this live stream's gonna be demonetized because I'm saying this. I'm just in a joking reference I made to a tweet that Linus, or at least Linus Tech Tips Twitter handle made. I said, if I was being paid millions of dollars, I'd make the switch to like some obscure platform. Like I used Pornhub, for example. Like if someone paid me $5 million to uproot Science Studio and exclusively upload videos to Pornhub, not saying they'd be pornos, but I'm saying that they would be like on that platform. Like I would just keep doing the tech videos that I do now, right? They would just be on a different platform is basically what I would agree to for $5 million. That kind of move, is just kind of out of nowhere. And that was my point, is it's going to take a lot of money, way more for Ninja, because he's way bigger than we are. So imagine, if I'm comfortable doing it for a few $1 million, imagine how much more money they had to throw at Ninja to get him to move. And then on top of that, possibly a signing bonus. I don't watch Ninja. I don't watch Ninja. I've never really watched him. I don't get into Twitch streams very much. It's just, I'd rather play the game than watch someone else play. That's just me. But, yeah, a lot of money on the table with that deal. So that's all I'll say. Let's see here. Yeah, KF Gaming says, wow, this stream just made a turn. LOL Q&A intensified. I'm suddenly watching all of these all of these chats. Oh man, it's delayed, so you guys heard this just now for me real time. That's really funny. Adrian, I answered that question about starting on YouTube. I answered that in the beginning of the live stream, so you can rewind if you want. Let's see here. Anon asks, for gaming at 4K and 1440p resolution gaming, what CPU do you recommend if you only think about value? Ryzen 3600 good enough, or would you recommend other CPUs? 3600 is plenty for 1440p and 4K. That's exactly where I'll leave it. Excuse me. Alex the Deities asks, would you recommend the Corsair 220T, RGB airflow? Corsair says you can fit it right up top. You said you can't. Watch the video. I tell you if I recommend it or not. And second of all, I was talking specifically about a 280mm AIO. Corsair literally told me in a text that you can't fit a 280 mil AIO up top, and that's it right there. The reason why you can't is because the 280 rad is too thick, and by the time you get that far down from the top of the chassis, you're hitting your memory, you're hitting VRM heat sinks, things like that. And if you have an air cooler, there's no way that'll work, especially not. So that's why. Let's see here. Will you do a Ryzen 3600X overclocking tutorial sometime from Air Force? The answer is no, and the reason why is because you shouldn't overclock. In most cases, you'll be benefiting from just a precision boost to precision boost overdrive toggle, and that's it. Manually overclocking is just going to make your system run hotter, consume more power, reduce the lifespan of your CPU more than likely, although it's probably negligible in the in the long run. It's just not worth it because you're going to get a lower effective all-core overclock than you would have from a single-core boosting. You could do per-core overclocking, sure, but like, why do that if precision boost is already going to do that for you? God, I hate loud motorcycles. Like so many people in my apartment complex drive these stupid Harleys, and they sound like garbage. And then they always rev it when they get between the buildings because they think it sounds cool. They think they're cool. They just want to like roll up my window and be like, "Nobody thinks you're cool." And I feel like that's what I have to tell them. Like, it's a freaking Harley. I've just never gotten into like loud Harleys before. Where's Pepsi at? Pepsi is behind me. It's a straight up mess in this room because I've been building the custom loop rig behind me. But Pepsi's chilling. You can see her like right there. Pepsi guy. Pepsi guy. Hey, she woke up. Hey, Pepsi girl. She's just chilling. Just chilling like a villain. Someone says do it and film it. Are you talking about the Harley thing? Oh gosh, you guys, I feel like some of you would be disappointed if I feel like you'd be disappointed if you just like had a camera like stuck in my face all day, because I'm really a boring person. I literally just work and that's it. Bazinga says I should clean up my room. First off, thanks for the $10 super chat. I know you super chatted before. I missed it, but I think it was something about I actually don't know what it was about. I'm sorry, Bazinga. I'll scroll back up soon. He says, first, clean that room, stuff on the floor and table before Lisa sees the video. Second, will you name your baby Bazinga? That was what you asked in the first super chat. Sorry about that. So I'm doing the custom loop thing. I said that a second ago, but I know it's delayed. So I'm working on the custom loop rig right now, and there's going to be crap everywhere for a while because that's just what happens when you build a custom loop. So I don't see how people, you know the saying, like, don't trust a mechanic with shiny tools, because that implies they haven't actually done any work in the past. I kind of can't understand how some of these people throw these custom loops up on the channel and on their channels, whatever channels they happen to have, and like keep their room totally clean in the process. Like and like all of it's organized and laid out super fine, and you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand that. I'd rather it be a mess while I'm working, and then I can clean it all up, which I do daily. Well, sometimes if it's like a 2 or 3 day long project like this, it'll take a bit longer. But I always clean it up when I can, when I finish that particular job, that particular video. Christiana, let's see, $5 super chat. Hey Greg, what air cooler would fit a 2700X on an ASRock Steel X570 and an H500i? Need to replace the Wraith cooler. A lot of coolers would fit. I thank you for the super chat, by the way. I would say your best bet would be to go with something in the... If the Wraith's not cutting it for you, you want something a little beefier. We were talking about the Dark Rock 4 earlier. That's a really nice looking cooler. A Cryorig H7 Quad Illumi if you can find one. Even a Hyper 212 Black would be fine. But if you want something a bit beefier, I would say Dark Rock 4 is pretty good. You could go with the U12A from Noctua. That's a really nice cooler, like, what, seven heat pipes on that sucker. So there are plenty of options, and I don't think you're going to have issues with height. So you can check on NZXT's website. They'll show you, I'm pretty sure, CPU height clearance, CPU cooler height clearance. And then you can just check the height of the cooler on that website you're looking at. And that's how you can check. Let's see here. Dipankar, I don't know how to say that name. Mr. Roy, how about that? You said the NZXT H500 is a hot box, but later mentioned it has great airflow. Can a great airflow cool system? I don't think I ever called the H500 a hot box. You'd have to show me what video where I said that. I've called other cases hot boxes for good reason because they are. But the H500 is not a hot box. The H500 actually has surprisingly good airflow considering its kind of closed off structure. And the reason why is because you're running a very negative pressure in the case, and that allows air to passively be pulled in through the front panel on the sides of the front panel, I should say. Actually, the left side to be very specific. But we've run tests with the H500, and you've seen that if you watch that video, we throw a different, we throw fans in the front, and then we remove fans. We show that those front fans really don't do much because they're just pulling in air from like a closed off panel. That air has to turn 90 degrees. You lose air pressure in the process, and those fans have to work harder to get that air through the case, which makes your system louder. So the optimal setup would just be to have two fans in there, the two fans that you get in the box. So they actually did a pretty good job positioning the fans where they did. You'd think that it wouldn't be a good case for airflow, but it's actually not that bad. Let's see here. Jason's saying, I'm a little busy right now. Would you please make this video on your channel later as VOD? Yeah, so all of these live streams are archived after the fact. You can go back and watch any of these. There's like a couple that I've deleted for different reasons, but this one will stay up there. So as long as nothing weird happens on the stream. Let's see, scrolling down. Contra's asking if I have a G-Sync setup. I have a G-Sync monitor. That monitor there with that system is a G-Sync monitor. If I have G-Sync enabled and then also V-Sync in software, I don't have, let's see, saying on NVIDIA control panel, V-Sync off in games and limit your FPS to 3 below your refresh rate. I've never done that. I just enable G-Sync and enable V-Sync if I want. I don't even have to enable V-Sync if I don't want. It still looks pretty good. Most of the time, you're not going to get above 165 hertz anyway, which is what that monitor is. But I don't know specifically what that looks like. I've never done that particular setup before. Bazinga, another $10 super chat. Bazinga, what are you doing here? Will you have Fran, father of the bride part 2, design the baby room? Lisa has dibs on the baby room. She will not let me touch that room. She has told me explicitly that is her room to design, and that I can't even pick the type of furniture that goes in there. I can't pick the wall color. Nothing. I know. So what happens when you get married? You gotta make compromises. Some of them, sometimes you just don't have choices. Like you just have to give up. There's no point trying to argue because there's no way you're gonna win. There's no way it's gonna work out for you. So I've learned that the hard way. Let's see here. Scrolling down. What do we have here? Ba-ba-da-da-ba. Patrick asks, do you like smaller, bigger cases now since AMD has made more cores in such a small chip? I'm not sure what the more cores and small chip has to do with case size, but I've always preferred mid towers or below. I don't like full towers. I just don't have the hard drives to populate all the extra space, and I've built plenty of custom loops in very compact mid towers, like this one right here. It's a compact mid tower, and you can still pull it off with the right hardware and the right finesse. And that's what I prefer, because I like filling out the space. With full towers, it's really hard to fill out all the space, unless you're just someone who doesn't care about looks and you put your computer on the ground or something like that, Let's see, scrolling down a little bit. Something about a chainsaw gaming. What a name, my friend. $5 super chat. I appreciate that. I have an 8700K, but looking to upgrade soon. Should I wait for a 3900X to be available, or just get a 9900K? Are you just wanting to upgrade because you feel like you can? Maybe financially you're in the you're just in the green or in the black and you just want to spend money, because an 8700K to a 9900K for a lot of people is not really going to do much. I mean, if you're going to make the switch to a 3900X, I'd assume you have plenty of money to throw around, because it doesn't require you to get a new motherboard too. So maybe just go all out. I would wait personally. If you have a few extra months to spare, maybe not even that, the 3950X, would probably be the better chip if you're able to get one right away. I have a feeling you'll be able to, because these are quite a bit more expensive. I'm not sure what kind of stocks we should expect for those chips, but I feel like you know, if you have the money to throw around, yeah. David says, "Hi, Greg Nostro on joining Floatplane. Luke said on WAN show. Can you talk a bit about what led your decision, how you feel about it?" I talked a bit about Floatplane before. So if you want to like rewind and listen to that spiel about Floatplane, you can. I will say I met pretty much everyone. The entire Floatplane team was at LTX again. I said this earlier. I'm not going to go through this again for everyone watching live from the beginning, but to talk a little bit more about Floatplane, it was kind of a no-brainer for me. I think the way that they're approaching this with us, and I think they're okay with me saying this, is like Floatplane is not supposed to be a viable substitute for YouTube. It's supposed to complement YouTube. Obviously, most of us are making a good chunk of change from YouTube, and that's why we're on here, on this platform. But we understand that YouTube is not a perpetual motion machine. It's not going to be here forever, and it's wobbly at times, meaning you could be axed for anything. Tomorrow, my channel could be deleted for something I said in 2013. I don't know. It's just whatever. It's their platform. They can cut me off for whatever reason they want, right? As long as it's not racially discriminatory or on the basis of sex or something else, it's just up to them. And Floatplane is designed to be neutral. It's designed to be kind of a more exclusive platform for people that want to support creators more directly, who want possibly, depending on the creator, exclusive content. Maybe they just want to get content ahead of time. You're going to see both of those on my Floatplane channel, which we already have set up. Again, it's in stealth mode, so it's just hidden from public. But once I get a few more videos on there, then you will have 1 week exclusives on Floatplane, and you will also have dedicated videos, so exclusive videos, I should say. So videos that are only going to go up on Floatplane, and that's it. That assumes that no one's going to download it and repost it somewhere else, which I don't recommend you do, because then you're just paying for nothing, in my opinion. They're just kind of pointless. You can download videos, though, on Floatplane, which is cool. And then also exclusive live streams is another one. And what that is going to come down to, because I still want to live stream to YouTube every week, or roughly every week, is I'm going to have exclusive live streams for Floatplane supporters. And I want to do that at least once a month, possibly more. Heck, I might just start a live stream on my phone. You could really do it with whatever. You might see some phone vlogs. You might see some car stuff on Floatplane that never touches YouTube. And that's kind of the point of it, right? It's just supposed to be a supplement. It's supposed to complement YouTube, and not be an alternative. So that was something that they were very upfront about, and I understand that. I don't expect Floatplane to explode overnight, especially for a channel my size. I hope that the Floatplane platform does well and sticks around, because I like it so far. But I know that my Floatplane account's not going to go through the roof in a day, right? So you have to take it a step at a time, a video at a time. And I'm working up to that point where we can publish it, hopefully within this month, and you guys will have exclusive stuff. I think that'd be really cool, just to be more one-on-one with those who want to support us directly and who also want to support a great platform, which Floatplane is. Luke was telling me that there is no algorithm. I'm not sure if they talked much about this outside of just conversation, but Floatplane has no algorithm, which means if you go to the Floatplane splash page, you just get your list of creators that you're subscribed to, right? And you just click on any of those and you get access to the videos that are all public on Floatplane. There's not a recommended next, or anything. Like if you sub to there's only 3 channels that are public right now, but let's assume there's 100 channels public on Floatplane in 2020, right? And you don't have a splash feed that says, oh, this video might be the best for this viewer. There's nothing like that. There's no algorithm that prioritizes stuff. I get under every one of my videos a Linus recommended video right after that. I know that's why my attrition rates are kind of crap. It's because these channels that have been doing this way longer and that have scaled way bigger than I have, and than I probably ever will, are, they just have that much more traction on YouTube. And the point of Floatplane is it's supposed to be a way for you to get around that. It's supposed to be a way for you to communicate directly with your audience and vice versa. And so I really like it, and that's why it was kind of a no-brainer for me. They asked me to join, and I was like, heck yeah, this is what I wanted. I wanted a Patreon for YouTubers, right? Except it's more than that. There's a lot more you can do, and yeah, I'm excited. So this month you'll hear more about it. But if you're interested, stick around. We're gonna have, I think, 2 tiers. I'm not gonna really push the 2-tier thing, but we're gonna have 2 tiers if that's just as a second option. So I think what we're gonna do is have the $5 tier, which is like gonna be the base tier for pretty much all the channels. And Linus and Luke talked about this on the WAN show. But so we're gonna do the $5 base tier. That's gonna give you 1080p streaming, 1080p down to 360p or whatever, and then access to live streams. And then you're gonna have, I'm not sure if I'm gonna do like a $10 option or like an $8 option. Depends on how many people are interested in it, and how many people actually have to sign up for the second tier. I won't know until I do it. So what I think I'm gonna do is have a $10 tier, and what I'm gonna do with that is give you 4K as an option. I think they're doing 4K. I don't know if it's 4K streaming or 4K downloads. I don't remember which one it was. Maybe both. I'll have to talk to Luke again. But it is going to give you better quality streaming. And then also you're going to get dedicated, like, exclusive live streams, kind of like what I already do with YouTube members, where we have like what I did before this live stream was like a separate Google Hangouts chat. And so only YouTube members have access to that link. I send it in the Discord, and they just sign in, and we just chat it up for an hour straight about whatever we want. It's a very small, like, conversation of between like three or four people usually, and so it's more personal for them and for me, and it's just easier to just talk. So that might be something we do as well with the second tier. But again, that's like later on. I think if we have so many people sign up for the first tier that I feel like we need a second option, then that's what I'll do. So anyway, that's the Flowplane stuff. You guys are wondering. I won't talk too much more about it because it's something we're going to have to hash out and figure out as we go. And Luke's been very cool about setting it all up for us and explaining things. And like, he's, it's a work in progress for them too. Like, they have to scale this as people join the platform. So it's kind of cool to get like a behind the scenes, like, explanation of events and stuff like that. So anyway. Someone asked about the lawsuit that was already discussed earlier. Let's see here. Matthew is asking what the most bang for the buck GPU on the market is in my eyes. The most bang for the buck, a new GPU. If you're asking about a new graphics card, then I would say probably 1660, something like that. Probably in that range. The 5700 is a really good graphics card that's a bit more expensive. Obviously, you're getting a lot more performance out of that too. So I would say, assuming AIBs don't charge much more than retail, much more than MSRP for their cards, that those would be the better buys. Kind of like how the 1070 was from Pascal, right? So the 1070 became a really, like, attainable card for a lot of people who wanted like 1440p low-end 4K gaming. And so if we're sticking to the new market, I would say 1660 is going to be really good. Very efficient graphics card, around $200. And then for a bit more than that, about $150 more, if you want to really step it up, the 5700 is going to be pretty compelling at that price. So we'll see. What do we have here? Alexander, what do you recommend for future-proof i9 or Ryzen? You want a future-proof gaming CPU, Core i9 9900K or Ryzen 3900X. Either is going to be fine, I think, for the next 3 or 4 years in gaming. I feel like the easy cop-out would be the 3900X, just because it's got more cores. But assuming you can overclock that Core i9 and you're willing to do so, you can edge out a bit more performance in most titles, just because you can get to 5 gigahertz, which is something that Ryzen can't do yet. So Will is calling me in the middle of my live stream. So it is going to depend on whether or not you choose to overclock or just run it stock. I'd say either's fine. If I was doing this, though, I don't really like overclocking heavily because every chip is different. You never know what you're going to get in the box. The 3900X is going to be a safer bet, in my opinion, because it's going to run fine just with precision boost enabled. That's what I would do. You're going to get decent boost clocks, assuming you can find motherboards that have BIOSes that don't, heavily throttle frequency for some obscure reason. It's going to work out of GESA and whatever else. Dylan Saunders, $2 super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Your channel has helped me a lot with my PC. Thanks. Well, thanks for watching. You guys have helped me a lot too. You've allowed me to do what I've been doing for this long. And I haven't had to use my college degrees at all, which is something I would have laughed at 6 years ago. I thought I'd definitely be working in the field by this point. So, yeah, I mean, who knows, like I said, whatever happens, happens. Something could happen to the channel tomorrow, and then there we go. At least I have fallbacks, and that's why I went to college, and that's ultimately why I also got my master's degree, because I wanted assurance that I would be qualified, if not overqualified, for certain jobs, at least entry level, in the tech sector or whatever else, just having an engineering degree gives you the more technical background, but then also having an MBA gives you like the administrative side, right? So you can write and manage people if you have to be in a management role, whatever. I'm still young, so that comes with the territory as well. And also saying that you're a YouTuber on your resume really doesn't gel well with a lot of older recruiters. So you have to be kind of strategic with how you say that in your resume. But all right, scrolling down just a bit here. Eduardo, we're at whoops, sorry about that. That was probably I just probably destroyed your eardrums. I'm so sorry. I definitely peaked when I did that. So yeah, that was probably a rip moment. Let's see. This question from Eduardo is, what hardware do you use to record your videos? It's all in my video description. It's in every video description. So scroll down. There's your answer. Okay, Lactum Jr. Upgrade refresh rate or resolution for gaming from a 60 Hz 1080p monitor. I'd upgrade refresh rate any day of the week over resolution. 1080p is good enough. It's especially if you're not used to 4K, then 1080p is good enough. Get yourself a higher refresh rate panel, 120, 144 Hz, even 240 Hz if you want to go all out. But yeah, that's what I would say. I see, is Oz in the chat? I think I saw Oz in the chat. Yeah, all right, Oz Talks Hardware's in the chat. Oz, I was just talking about you earlier in the live stream. If you want to scroll back and check that out, I was, someone asked me the YouTubers that I had the most respect for. And in a nutshell, it's kind of like, well, I don't know a lot of the bigger creators very well, so I'm not really qualified to answer that question. But I spent a lot of time with you. I spent a lot of time with Danny. And a few others, especially at the NVIDIA Summit and also at LTX. And you guys are stand-up dudes. So I guess kind of in a nutshell is what I said. If you want to scroll back, you can. But I was talking about you earlier, so that's pretty awesome. Let's see. The Conqueror 269. What's your recommendation for my next GPU upgrade? I have currently a 1070 Ti. That is way too vague a question to answer, Conqueror. I have no idea. I don't know what resolution you game at. I don't know what refresh rate you game at. I don't know what your CPU is. I don't know what your budget is. You can't really ask those questions because they're way too vague. So, yeah. Let's see. Santiago Morera. This is a pretty good one. It says, hi, used a 1080 Ti. Or no, sorry. Used 1080 Ti. So a used one on the used market, probably eBay or somewhere. Or a new 2070 Super. In my country, costs the same. 2070 Super is going to be awfully close to a 2080 Ti. I'm not sure if they're going to trade blows. In my research, the 2080 is the card that trades a lot of blows with the 1080 Ti. But the 2070 Super narrows the gap pretty substantially, although it's the TU106 die, right? Not the TU104. It's the same chip as the RTX 2060. But something else to consider is that the 2070 Super is going to be less power hungry, probably going to run a bit cooler as well. 2070 Supers, especially like AIB Supers, run super cool, like 64C under full gaming load. That's really, really low. These AIBs have done really good with their custom coolers. Excuse me. But yeah, I would say you'd be fine with either. If they're the same price, buying a 2070 Super would probably be the better bet because it's going to be new. So if anything does happen, usually you get that warranty to cover you. When you buy used secondhand, it's kind of difficult to get all that to line up. Bubby J says, Science Studio, I do photo, video, editing, media creation, and I'm primarily a gamer. Okay, so you're primarily a gamer, but you still do some of that other media creation on the side. Settle for a 3700X, but I currently have a 2600, and it still does a decent job. Is the $50 worth it? I would say yeah. You're going to see an improvement, especially from Zen Plus to Zen 2 in general. Even if we just assume you went from a 2600 to a 3600, you're still going to see a pretty substantial improvement. And assuming you can flip your 2600 for $100, $120, whatever you can get for it on eBay if you're in the US, then you take that money, recycle it back into a new one. You're only going to pay maybe $100, $150 to get the 3600 or even a 3700X. So I would say, because you only have to upgrade the CPU, it's probably worth doing if you can get some money back for the 2600, assuming you have enough RAM and other, system resources are okay, your graphics card's fine. That's a good thing about Ryzen. I talked about this in my on my panel at LTX. Is like we're kind of spoiled now with the idea that we can take the same platform, the same chipset, or not the same chipset, but the same socket, and use it for not just exclusively for one generation, but use it through 3 different generations of CPUs. And I mean, granted, Zen to Zen Plus was kind of like the TikTok thing for Intel, right? It really wasn't like, it was a refresh in a sense. It wasn't a total architecture overhaul, although things did definitely change. The fabrication was different. But the real improvements, in my opinion, are from Zen to Zen 2. And if you can afford to make that upgrade, you can stick with your motherboard more than likely. Even B350 will be perfectly fine for a 3700X. Then that's worth doing in my eyes. And then you can stay with that platform for years and be fine. Let's see here. See, one of our channel members, one Kaviper, I don't know how to say that. Hello, did you have problems getting 3000 series CPUs to work on a B450 motherboard? I did not, but you have to make sure that you flash the BIOSes in order. Some of those require multiple BIOS flashes, and you have to make sure you flash them in order, or they won't support Zen 2, or you'll lose support for other things. You'll have driver conflicts, whatever. So you have to make sure that you upgrade in order, and if you're still having issues, then I would just say it's the manufacturer's BIOS is just not holding up. You can contact their marketing team or technical team, and they'll tell you, what issues they've run into. Typically, you'll see like a change log and a debug log that'll tell you all the issues associated with that particular BIOS, but most of the time, if it's on their website, it's refined enough to be stable and publicized. So if you still have issues, again, I would just talk to technical marketing. Okay, scrolling down here. Let's see. Brian Schultz asked, in your opinion, what's the best value GPU in the market you've seen consistently? On the market, you said the 1070, but that's the used market. I answered the question already about the new market. Used market, 1070s are really cheap. 980 Ti's are really cheap. RX 570s and 580s are really cheap. You can get 570s for under $100 in some cases. So in my opinion, those would be even better deals than the 1070. Because 1070s are they're still selling occasionally on eBay and elsewhere for $280, $290, $300. You can't really get them for $200 like you could post mining craze. Let's see. Rough Profit Productions. Good question. Hi, Greg. For editing, do you use proxies for your 4K footage in Premiere? I do not. I edit the 4K footage straight up on the timeline. And what he means by proxies, for those who don't know, unless I am living on another planet and I misunderstood what proxies means, you can use like a lower resolution clip to edit on the timeline. And it's kind of like it's like a default insert so that you're editing with lower resolution footage, you get better playback and stuff, but when you go to render, all of that footage is replaced by stock footage at the higher resolution. So it takes the load off of your computer when you're editing in real time. And I don't really, I use a 9900K with quick sync, and that does a heck of a job already, and that with CUDA acceleration whenever I do any 3D graphics, things like that. It's pretty seamless. So that's why I've never needed it. I will say I probably could benefit from it on my mobile setup, though. Editing 4K footage on my MacBook X Pro is not the easiest, so that would make sense. Someone says I wouldn't buy a 1660. The better buy is an RX 570. Depends on the market because the 570 is a lot weaker than a 1660. Well, not a lot weaker. It's a weaker card though. And yeah, you can get RX 570s really cheap. That's like used market cheap, but like that's not really fair because the 1660 is not old enough to be like used yet. You know what I mean? So if you want to compare apples to oranges, fine, sure. Like you're gonna get way more value from the RX 570, but like a lot of people are going to be more content with a new card with a warranty, and if that's what you're asking for, then I would say the 1660 is definitely in the running. And then again, for a higher end card, 5700. Look, you can still buy like new. Let's see. Let's just go into Amazon real quick and see what we find new for the RX series. Let's do RX 570. So you can buy a Sapphire RX 570 4 gig right now on Amazon for 120 bucks. So that's pretty good. Some of these are like 140, 150. Like it's a good deal. But I would say like if I also do 1660, you can get a 1660 for 200 bucks. So for $80 more, you get a newer architecture, you get more VRAM, and you depending, I'm not sure what the power draw differences are. I haven't looked at these two specifically, but yeah, it just depends. I mean, you're gonna get more performance as well out of that 80 bucks. So, you know, to each his or her own. Like, I'm not gonna tell you which one to buy. I think they're both great deals, and this has nothing to do with a preference for AMD or Nvidia, one or the other. It's just whatever, you know. Starboy says the 1070s are 200, 230 used. They used to be. I know that I bought a ton of 1070s in the past when they were like 200 bucks. But when Pascal inventories dried up and you couldn't buy them on the used market or on the new market anymore, then the prices went back up. But yeah, it looks like they came back down again, so that's nice. Thanks for pointing that out. There's a Zotac Mini 1070 for 200 bucks, 210. That's not bad. Let me go ahead and just swing this over. Let's do secondary. Will that work? Okay, cool. All right, so if I scroll down here, let's see. So you got 210 there for that Zotac one. That's not bad, right? And sorry about that chat box, by the way. I know it's like going down into the channel members thing. Just bear with me for a second. There's a 1070 Founders there for 205 plus 15 shipping. That's not bad. There's an ROG Strix 1070 for 239. That's pretty good. And a lot of these are 220. Yeah, they come down a lot in price. They spiked for a while. I know this because I was looking. They spiked for a while, and they did that because Pascal inventories had just dried up. So people looking for Pascal cards who didn't want to buy into the RTX cards and wanted something cheaper before the 1600 or 1660 came out and all that, these were the only options. And people knew that, so they jacked up the prices of 1070s to kind of fill in that gap. But now that you have 1660s out and 1660 Ti's, I guess, you know, and now that Pascal's been out been quote unquote dead for a short while, prices have come back down. That's good to see. I'm glad because 1070s are really, really good cards. They're very power conservative. And they are, yeah, this is really nice here. You've got, let's see, what was this? These are all mining cards. It's a 1070 for the win. Wow, 215 OBO. Let's check this one out. That's pretty good. Nice. Nice. Yeah, it looks like, come with a box? That's what I want to know. Good looking card. Huh. Yeah, that could do. That's a 4 the win too. Look at that, 2 8-pins. So that's pretty beefy. I don't think it comes with a box. I always like to check because if they don't come with boxes, like I have all these, you know, cards in my closet. I don't like to stack them or anything. I don't want one of the fans to break. But anyway, yeah. So I stand corrected. 1070s are a lot cheaper now. They used to be more expensive. For a short while they were. And then before that, they were cheap again after the mining craze kind of, you know, died down. So, oh, that's not bad. Not bad at all. So yeah, 1070s are a really good option if you want to buy a used card. I definitely recommend them at 200 bucks. Now I'm watching myself on stream. This is really weird. All right, what other questions we got here, folks? Did I miss any? See, did I miss any super chats? I don't think I did. Ba, 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 ba. Looks good. Looks good. Okay. All right. Scrolling back down here. We got a super chat from 50 Fox. $5 super chat. I appreciate that. Do you think I would see an improvement in games with a 3700X over my 7700K? Can't really find real world results that compare what I have for Zen 2. It depends on the game. Games that are only going to leverage up to around 4 cores, which a lot of games still do, you won't see much of an improvement at all. But some games will use more threads, more cores, and that's where the 3700X would shine. Really, any CPU that's got more than 4 cores that's relatively recent. So I would say depends on the game. If you're playing a lot of newer AAA titles, then the upgrade would be beneficial. So yeah, if you're thinking about it, I think now's a good time. Yeah, I'd say now's especially on the 7700K because you've only got 4 cores on that chip. Yeah, I'd say it'd be a good buy, a good swap, I should say. Let's see here. Scrolling down, my eyes are killing me. So I've been cutting acrylic all day. Acrylic is a royal PITA. For those who don't know what PITA means, look it up. Acrylic is not one of those things that I'm very fond of because it's very brittle. It will shatter under heavy stress. It will not cut. It won't like mold like PETG will. So it's kind of my one complaint about this recent build is it's acrylic and not PETG. I've used PETG for pretty much every build except for one in the past that was acrylic, and I very quickly realized that it was not my favorite tubing. So yeah. Patriots' opinions on Intel GPUs. No idea. I don't have any opinion because I have not looked into any of the rumors regarding any of their products, so I don't know. Puerto Rico, I will be joining Flowplane. I talked about that several times in this live stream already, so scroll back if you got a chance. Soap wants to know what my glasses prescription is. Good question. My glass prescription is, I think I'm -2 in both eyes. I'm pretty sure, which is really nice because it means when I get contacts, I don't really wear contacts much, but whenever I have to order contacts, it's always like the same power, so it really doesn't matter which pack I open for which eye. I used to be like worse in my right eye, and then my left eye kind of caught up to it, and now they've kind of been the same power ever since. So VH Network, I'm not talking about acrylic versus tempered, I'm talking about tubing for custom loops, not tempered glass. Science says, do you prefer AMD or Intel? It's kind of a dumb question because it depends totally on context. Custom bent glass tubing. Okay, all right. Well, that's something. Glass tubing. That's a different story. I don't know about that one. Yeah. Chris says someone did a custom loop with all glass tubing. It made the rounds in some Facebook group. Dude, like, how do you? I mean, I know they have like pre-cut glass tubing runs like with 90-degree bends and stuff, but I'm just wondering like how like cutting that stuff's got to be a pain in the butt. I know they have special tools for it, but like that just seems like, you know, you get tiny little glass shards everywhere, and it's like acrylic but worse because it can actually like stab you. I don't know, that just yes. Yeah, Ivan says you can use a tube cutter to cut acrylic rather than a hacksaw. It just takes a while. Yeah, it takes a long while. I'm actually using a Dremel to cut the acrylic. My Dremel is not outfitted with the best cutter at the moment. It's just kind of got one of those like rough, like flat sander blades. But it's good enough. It just melts the acrylic on the edges, and then I use a sander, like a full-on flat sander on the Dremel to kind of smooth the edges out. And then I use the, where is it? It's over there, but anyway, then I like grind up the edges to get it nice and smooth on the inside and outside. He asked when I'm joining Floatplane. That's going to be this month. I already talked about it earlier in the live stream. Let's see. Ria's 14. Probably butchered that. I'm sorry. So sorry for saying it again. What's the best B50 motherboard in the market right now? I've been reading all the BIOSes are buggy. Yeah, I don't know. For Zen 2, I don't have a lot of hands-on experience with B450. The one board that I did test was an Asus Tough board. It worked, but I did not confirm that the CPU was boosting properly yet. So I'm trying to get Asus to send a board. They haven't responded. Well, they responded to my emails once, and then they like forwarded me to some other guy, and he hasn't responded yet. Speaking of which, I'm gonna go ahead and email them again. Hey Asus, hook a brother up with that B450 action. Yep. That's exactly how I'm going to respond. I'm just kidding. Although... There we go. Sorry, awkward pause. It just reminded me. I don't want to forget another week. Because that's like stuff... Those are legit questions, right? It's something that I know a lot of you are concerned about. That's why I tested on B350. That's also why I tested on A320, although I don't really recommend that. You can watch the video for reasons why. But B450 is definitely a valid concern for a lot of you because it should work. It's supposed to work. But the motherboard vendors have been a bit slow lately about refining BIOSes for the latest architecture. So we will see. All I can say is be patient. If you want, you can go ahead and buy the chip that you want. Update the BIOS, try it out. If it doesn't work or if it's really buggy, then just swap back to the old CPU. Wait for the next BIOS, then you can swap it back up again, right? The good thing is it's like you can just swap chips. That's the beauty of the AM4 platform. So that's what I would do if you are just kind of in the mix about whether or not to get one. Or if you're concerned about BIOS updates, there's really nothing to lose. You will have support for it. It's just going to take some time. And it's going to vary from board to board and vendor to vendor. Let's see. One more question. Let me get one more question. Science Gabe asked, what's the best budget GPU? Already answered that question earlier in the live stream. Let's say, Robert says, I'm sure you'll get a positive response. Was that about the Asus email? Yeah, at Asus. Just everyone going at Asus right now on Twitter and tell them to respond to my email. That'd be great. I'd appreciate it. You can use, his name is Nick. So if you say at Asus ROG or Asus North America, whatever, please tell Nick to respond to Greg. That would be awesome. I'm sure they'd get a kick out of that. All right, one more question. Let me get one more. Something juicy. Something juicy, please. Give me something good. Okay, Zach says he got the B450 Tomahawk. His friend got a B450 Tomahawk to work with a 3600X. Works perfectly. Zach, double check his boost frequencies, especially with PBO enabled. I bet you he's not getting the full potential out of that CPU yet. That's an issue that is even being seen in some X570 boards still. A good question. Someone's asking why I don't build a super small form factor PC in a Dan A4 Ghost S1. I already built a super compact build in the Fractal Node 202 with like custom cables, totally kitted out. Granted, it's Node 202. It's kind of a cookie cutter ITX case at this point. I just need the case. I gotta get one of them to send me a case. I'm not gonna go out and buy it because I just don't like. If they want to send me one, that's great. But I'm not going to spend company dollars on cases. That's just not. I have plenty of cases as it is. It's something you'll understand if, yeah. Chris says, "Oh Lord, the Asus community manager." Oh, GG. Yeah, I've been waiting like over a week for this. Like it was one of them I talk to all the time. Really great. And then this was July 19th. What is it? What's today's date? August 3rd. No, sorry, it was July 27th. So it's been, what, a week? Yeah, it's been right at a week, and I haven't heard anything from the guy. I bumped him 3 days ago, still nothing, and then I just sent the second follow-up email today. So, GG. Chris says, I've got the NFC S4 mini chassis I haven't built in if you want to take the challenge. Ooh, that sounds fun. I'll have to hit you up, Chris. Let me, I'll shoot you a text after this. That sounds really interesting. And maybe we'll do something weird with it. Like something really weird, especially after this thing. Like after this build, I'm kind of just like wanting to do even crazier stuff. So we'll get it going. This will be fun. All right. You guys have been awesome. I'm going to sign out. It's been a while. My nose is getting itchy. I think it's just this room. There's no circulation in here, and I got these freaking floodlights on and just heat up the whole place. There's acrylic everywhere because I've been shaving acrylic all day. So anyway, it's been a great time. You guys have been awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned because we have plenty of good content coming up. I think it's good content. I don't know about you, but I think it's decent content. And especially this build. We're going to be finishing this build. It's all in one video. You know, I've done like builds in the past, like custom loop builds where it's like part 1, part 2, part 3. This is all part 1 of 1. So you don't have to watch 3 videos to get the end result. It's going to be pretty baller. And yeah, all right. I will see you guys in the next one. Stay awesome. And good night. I should probably click the stop streaming button. That would help. There it is. GG. See you guys.